Hey everyone. So today I was getting ready to mount on some of the very basic recovery, safety gear that I'm going to have on the trailer, and it had me thinking, and I know it's been done a bunch of times out there. You can Google or YouTube lots of overlanding for beginners videos, and there's some really good ones out there. So I probably won't be telling you much that's new, but it just had me thinking, hey, this might be a good opportunity just to do a really quick video on what I'm going to be starting out with from overall overlanding equipment and recovery gear, which if you even kind of back up a step, the first thing to kind of think about is one, where you're going to be going, and two, what kind of vehicle that you're going to be going in. So the first probably year or so of my overlanding, so basically next year, because we're building now and going here next year. It's December 2021 right now. A lot of what we're going to start off by doing is really basic stuff. So probably access that will be overlanding type roads, but into potentially developed areas or more flat, basic type of overlanding. The reason being is my wife's really new in it, and so I kind of want to make sure that she's very comfortable and enjoys herself and has a great time before we kind of step it up and do some more deeper vehicle-based exploration type of trips. So I am really just starting off with a very basic 2019 Tacoma. In fact, let's take a look at it really quick, and I'll show you what that looks like. So here's my Tacoma. Like I said, it's totally stock outside of just the skid plate. Really haven't quite built anything up yet, but I did have them do the skid plate when I bought that from the dealer. But beyond that, it's really just a stock 2019 TRD Tacoma. So to get into this and have access to a lot of vehicle exploration areas, this is all we really need to kind of get our foot in the door. So you can see it's really, you don't have to have the elaborate rigs that you see out there. They're awesome, and they certainly are really helpful when you start getting into those more advanced overlanding types of trips. But you can get away with a two-wheel drive. You can get away with an all-wheel drive, wagon like a Subaru or something like that. There's a lot of the access points, especially in Northern California where I'm at, that are pretty well maintained for Forest Service types of roads, access points. So you don't have to go over the top to get into this. The point is, get out there, enjoy yourself, be outside, enjoy the outside. But if you do go, you want to make sure that you do have some basic gear to help support you if you end up in a jam. So I'm just going to kind of show a few things here that I've got that I'm starting off with, and kind of talk about what I probably will be phasing myself into down to the road. So one of the first things that I did do is I did invest in additional gas cans. I want to make sure that when I'm out and about, I don't have to be too concerned about where I'm at from a gas standpoint. You definitely don't want to run out of gas out overlanding. Oh, and I'll talk a little bit more about it when I show you the mounting of these, but I did go with the Rotopax or Fuel Packs gas cans. They're awesome. Jack. So this is kind of a three-piece element of all of this. Full-size spare. This is for my trailer, which actually has bigger wheels and tires on it than my Tacoma does. So the trailer definitely needed a high lift jack. So it is actually the high lift jack. That's the brand I ended up going with. They've been around forever, great reputation. They are durable, super tough, love it. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a full-size spare on whatever rig you are going out in. So my Tacoma has a full-size spare. My trailer now, I have a full-size spare for that, and I do have the high lift jack to be able to do a spare change. The scissor jack that comes along with the Tacoma certainly would be difficult to use out in an off-road type of situation. And then while we're talking about tire repair, having a basic tire repair kit is also really important. So this is I can talk. This is an ARB tire repair kit. Super basic. I'll have links to all this stuff in the description below as well. But this gives you the ability to, if you have more than one flat, that you have the ability of doing some tire repair. And a lot of this too is about being able to potentially help people that are out with you on your trip, or people that you come across while on your trip too. So you never know when this can come in super handy. Also, while talking about tires, the ability of airing down and then airing back up to help give yourself a little bit of a smoother ride and better traction that comes from the lower PSI tire pressures. You do need a small air compressor. Really like this Viair compressor. I actually had found it on another YouTuber that was doing a beginner overlanding. Super compact, comes in a nice little bag. I actually ended up taking and rewiring it. It comes with, you probably don't need to see it, but it comes with clamps for your battery, is how it connects to the 12-volt system. I put it in SAS connector on the end of it. Basically, all of my 12 volts connections are with SAS connections, from my solar to anything else I'm plugging into the system. All go right into that SAS system. So real good, clean, secure connections versus battery cables, which can sometimes be loose or a little wonky. So, you know, kind of expanding on the tool topic, just a basic mechanics tool set is really important too. This is obviously really big. I'm going to be condensing this down into tool roll bags, which I'm super fond of. Those things are awesome. They get really compact. Sometimes you search a little bit for that one socket that you're looking for, but they do compact down and are really easy to pack away and stow away. And it does keep things somewhat organized versus just kind of a loose box where all that stuff can be in. Traction boards. So, you know, I didn't go real high end on these. You know, I'm starting off kind of light on it, but these are a great spot when you're in mud, when you're in sand, when you're in snow, and those tires are having a hard time getting traction and you start to dig yourself down. You need to be able to get these in, and it will give you the ability of getting traction and onto it when you have one tire spinning against another tire. So these are great to have on board. And then lastly, you know, just some basic Lowe's shovel, axe, sledgehammer. So the shovel to help dig yourself out, again, helping kind of get yourself some traction when you need to. These are great for putting out fires if you're doing real fires. When available, definitely check your local regs on that. And then you know, the axe and the sledgehammer. Having a sledgehammer around is always helpful. You just never know when you're going to need something like that. Having the axe to be able to clear away potential trees and logs that may have fallen onto a road is also a really big thing. Always want to make sure that you're clearing those out for those that might be coming around you as well. So that's really the basics of the gear that I'm starting off with. If you've noticed, I haven't invested yet in any type of tow ropes or winches or anything like that. Again, I'm hoping this first year that I'm in it, you know, I'm in areas where this should be the extent of what I need. And as I progress and start to go into more advanced routes, I'll definitely be looking to add a winch to the truck, add some tow ropes and equipment along those lines into the gearbox as well. So let me show you real quick how I've got it all mounted on, and then we will wrap it up. So again, thanks everybody. Let's take a look at it all on the trailer. So let's just take a real quick look at just how I'm got some of this gear mounted on. You know, starting with the gas cans, as I mentioned, I ended up going with the Rotopax brand, using their 2-gallon Fuel Max cans. They've got a super cool mounting system, which is really what brought me to Rotopax. You've got a mount that mounts onto racks, walls, however ultimately you want to set it up. The can slips over the top of it, and then you see these nubs here slip into a recess on the back of the, if I can even get it, on the back of the turn knob there, and lock it into place. Super stable. Really like those. I ended up putting one on each side, so I've got the total of 5 extra gallons, but I did put them on each side and kind of centered over the wheel, so I'm trying to just be as evenly distributed with weight as possible. While we're up here, let's take a look at how I ended up mounting the shovel and the axe. There's a ton of ways that you can go about this. A lot of great companies out there making mounting racks and access points. I ended up going with a company called Builtright Industries. They have a super cool laser cut bracket. It raises it up over. As you can see, it's got a couple bolts on the underside that slide right into the track system on my lower rack. And then what it does is it combines in with the Quick Fist system, which is the rubber element of this that bolts right in and then just pins down. These things are solid in there, not going anywhere. Really happy with those mounts. And for the traction boards, just super simple. I just took a track bolt and put it into the track system on my rack, pushed it through, and knobbed it right on there. So real easy. These things are so light that they're not going anywhere. And lastly, we've got the jack, and what I ended up going with here is the Southern Powersports mount. And what I did is I got another couple bolts that go into this airplane track system. If you're curious about this airplane track system, I really like it. Got a ton of uses. In my video about the rack system that I have here on the trailer, I talk about this track system and have a link to the specialized bolts that need to be used with it. But basically just dropped that mount on there. These mounts have a nice lift. They get the jack up off of the trailer. There's lots of different ways that you can mount these jacks. In fact, the grips that I have for the axe and the shovel actually advertise themselves as a use for these jacks. I ended up just going with something that I wanted, something that was super sturdy, really cramps down tight, and is not going anywhere. These jacks are really heavy, so losing one while you're rolling down the road would not be optimal. So yeah, I think that's it. So as you can see, really, these are the basics to get you out there on the road. Make sure that you're safe while you're out there, but at the same time, it's not something where you've got to go over the top. As I mentioned, I am sure I am going to be getting additional recovery gear and adding it to the system and equipment that I carry with me, but right now this is going to get me started, get me out there, and give me an opportunity to start learning more about it. So hope that's helpful to you guys. Thanks for riding along.